Okay, so after using the Google Pixel 6a for the last month or so, I can't stop thinking about how good of a phone this is. And I just want to admit it right now, I was wrong for thinking the phone is kind of meh from my initial impressions. The Pixel 6a is the best Android phone you can buy for under $500. And the fact that it's using a flagship processor as its flagship siblings, the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, I can't recommend it enough. All right, that's the end of the video. Okay, but seriously though, I want to share with you guys my full experience with this phone and what it was like using the Pixel 6a as my daily Android phone for the last few weeks. Now, as someone who's reviewed a lot of flagship phones, it was definitely hard going from a $1,200 phone to a phone that's $450. So let me give you guys a quick refresher on the Pixel 6a's specs real quick. So the Pixel 6a is rocking the same Google Tensor chip as the Pixel 6 and Pixel 6 Pro, and from what Google told me, it's not underclocked or anything like that. It's the same exact chip that they use on their flagship phones. It's also packing 6 gigs of RAM, which is fine for most people shopping at this price range, and it comes with 128 gigs of storage, which again, should be plenty for most people. Now, the back of the phone is made out of plastic, which if you didn't tell me, I would have easily guessed that this phone has a glass back. But nope, it's plastic, and I just want to throw it out there again. I really don't get why this phone doesn't have wireless charging. I'm sure it's not going to drive up the price by a crazy amount, but yeah, it's pretty sad that I woke up to a dead phone a couple of times the first week that I used this phone, just because I thought it had wireless charging and then realized it wasn't my charger, it's the phone. Now up front, you're getting a 6.1-inch Full HD Plus display with a 60Hz refresh rate, which, you know what, let's talk about this now. The refresh rate sounds disappointing, especially for an Android device in 2022, and I know what you guys are going to comment. iPhone SE or even the iPhone 13 doesn't have a 120Hz refresh rate, so why even talk bad about this? Why is this a big deal? Funny enough, I'm not actually going to talk bad about it, because the month that I've been using the Pixel 6a as my daily Android device, I legitimately couldn't even notice that the phone's refresh rate is at 60Hz. I'm not exactly sure what Google did to this phone, but throughout my testing, the phone just felt snappy, super quick, that I didn't even realize that the phone I was using had a 60Hz refresh rate. And like I said earlier, I've used and tested so many flagship phones with a 120Hz refresh rate, but this Pixel 6a looked just like those phones in most cases, which is really weird, but something I'm actually happy about. If you're worried that 60Hz is abysmal on a phone in 2022, just remind yourself that this is a $450 smartphone, and from my experience, the Pixel 6a actually has a really good display. The colors are vibrant, the blacks are black thanks to OLED, and while viewing angles could be better and the screen could be a lot brighter, I'm just asking way too much for a phone that's $450. Alright, now before we talk about its day-to-day performance and battery life and the cameras, I just want to thank Dbrand for sponsoring a portion of this video. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you already know that I've worked with Dbrand on so many videos, and they make the best and most precise skins for your tech products. From Pixel phones to iPhones, OnePlus, or even your PS5. You can make your own device look unique by slapping a Dbrand skin on them. Now what's cool with these new Pixel lines is that you can actually pick up this cool color scheme that mimics 4 turtle dudes that you may have watched growing up. But besides that, they have true leather skins which feel soft to the touch and smells really good too. Or go for an all matte black look if you want. So if you want to customize your Pixel 6a, check out Dbrand by going to dbrand.com/heymarkel or click the first link down below. So one of the best things about the Google Pixel 6a is the Google Tensor chip. I've said this about the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, and this chip performs just as well as those phones with Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 processors. In my opinion, this phone can handle just about anything you throw at it, whether it's playing more graphic-intensive games or you plan on editing photos or short-form videos for TikTok. This phone can handle it. And I think this chip also plays a part in why the phone's 60Hz refresh rate doesn't matter all that much. The phone is using a flagship processor that it doesn't feel like the phone's performance bogged down while I was navigating throughout the OS and switching apps, opening multiple apps, and just using the phone how I would normally use it. Now, I have had the phone heat up every once in a while, especially if I'm playing a game for hours on out, but that also happens with other phones that cost twice as much. And I'll be honest with you guys, the performance will take a hit so it doesn't overheat. But besides that though, when I'm using the phone just for social, watching videos, doing emails, it's a really enjoyable experience, and I think you'll enjoy it too. Now, battery is a little bit subjective just because of how I use my phone can be a lot different from how you use your phones, but in the month that I've used the Pixel 6a, I was able to average around 6 hours of screen on time, which is plenty of battery for an everyday consumer, but you can probably push it to 7 or 8 if you have certain settings disabled or you're just a very light user. But yeah, for me, I didn't have issues with the phone dying on me at the end of the day, but I wasn't really able to do a full day and some charge the next day without having to charge the phone overnight. And speaking of charging, the 6A can charge up to 18 watts, which again is totally fine for this price point. You can expect about a 25% charge in about 20 to 25 minutes with a fast charger. Now, the cameras. I talked about this on my comparison between the Pixel 6 and Pixel 6a, and if you haven't watched that video, I'll link it down below that like button. But basically, the 6a, despite it using an older camera sensor, can actually produce really nice images, all thanks to Google's computational photography. Now, it's the same 12.1 megapixel camera sensor they've used since the Pixel 2, but I mean, with Google's post-processing, a lot of phones I've shot using the 6a turned out so good that the camera alone makes the price worth it. Even in low light, the Pixel 6a can handle nighttime photography no problem, especially with night sight. And if you care about photo quality on a phone and you're on a tight budget, don't look at other Android phones. Trust me, this is what you should pick up. And that's what brings us to this conclusion. For $450, this is by far the best Android phone that you can buy if you're on a budget, period. Forget the Samsung A series, forget the Nord series from OnePlus. The Pixel 6a really is a great Android phone. And no, I'm not getting paid by Google to say this, it's just that once you overlook the specs and you actually use the phone, you'll realize how good of a phone the 6a actually is. From the Google Tensor chip to the great cameras, all the way down to its battery life. For $450, you can't beat this, and I can't recommend it enough. Now, if you prefer how Samsung does Android, sure, you can make a case of how you think that's a better buy, but for regular everyday consumers who doesn't care about the nitty-gritty specs or what OEM does software better, and all they want is a really good phone that's in their budget, the Pixel 6a can for sure deliver. Anyways, that's been it for this review or my 1 month experience with the Pixel 6a. If you guys want to see any of my other videos, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and yeah, I'll see you all in the next one.